All right. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another TWMX live stream tonight. Oh man, we are here. Finally made it to the new year. A1's just right around the corner this weekend. So yeah, we're gonna do a little pre-season show today. Just talk with everyone, and as always, we got here Trey Steyer. Trey, how are we tonight?
Good man, excited for the upcoming season. Thanks for having me back on and excited to really get into these full time. Obviously, there's a lot of racing action to come up, and then we got a wrench thrown into the 450 series a couple weeks ago, a few days before Christmas, with the whole Jett Lawrence news. So it really felt like a whole new season. Of course, it seemed like he was the overwhelming favorite, of course, to try to reclaim his championship, but now it seems like a whole completely different series with him out, and there are so many different guys I feel like who have more of a chance and are going to show up to A1 trying to start their championship season.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting, and it's definitely a big wrench thrown into it with Jett being out. Not the only one out on the Honda, of course, Joe Shimoda also being out with an injury. So unfortunate for Honda. Still have Hymus, and we still have Hunter, so we should still have some great racing out there. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's definitely one of those things like that you think about, like when it comes to Supercross and this and that, not having Jett in there really kind of I don't know how it is for the riders, but I'd imagine they're like, okay, let's go, let's do this. Everyone's on new bikes. It just really evens the playing field right now. But we're gonna get more in detail about that. Obviously, we're gonna talk all things Supercross and all the news that's been happening the last couple weeks. Hope everyone had a great holiday break as well. It was definitely nice for us. Spent time with family, but we are anxious to get back to the races. I was at the races this weekend, however. I was at Partzilla Arenacross, and it was awesome. We finished out. It was in Salem, Virginia. It was only like 3 hours from my house, so it was nice. Got to drive up there to do that one, and yeah, it was great. The arena was actually packed. That was probably one of our better crowds. Decent venue. Josh Hill showed up. He won. He actually didn't win the first night, but he won the second night. He mentioned how it's cool to show up to these and see where he's at with everyone. And I asked him too if he's going to come back and maybe race with Tedder, but he said no, it's just Justin. So that's what we're going to see over there. I was hoping to see the brothers as well come back together. But another big news, really big news for Transworld Motocross and Motocross.com. As you can see in the bottom left of the screen here, it says presented by Partzilla. That is right. Partzilla officially coming on board for Transworld Motocross and Motocross.com. They are officially pretty much our title sponsor for this year. You're going to start seeing a lot of the branding and maybe a little ad break and stuff like that in a lot of our YouTube coverage and a couple social posts a week and stuff like that. So support it, support them. They're supporting us. They're allowing us to keep doing this. Like I've mentioned, if you guys have been following along, like I've mentioned, this has been a big opportunity for me to bring back Transworld Motocross and doing everything we're doing, but it's the risk that I took, and it's not really a paid position. Like I have to create these positions and make these things happen. So bringing on these partners is exactly what's doing that, and it's literally paying for us to get there and buying our tickets. And me and Trey will be there this weekend, and then I'll be hitting all the races, going for that perfect attendance this year. Barely missed it just by like 2 or 3 last year. But yeah, huge thank you. Partzilla, best for parts. Check them out, partzilla.com. Obviously, they've been a big part with the Arenacross series we've been doing as well, partzillarenacross.com. But yeah, Partzilla, they're going to be all over. We're going to be seeing them all over the place here soon. So shout out to them. Please support them. Let's show them that, working with us is a good thing, and we can get some people to check out their site. Everything dirt bikes, quads, ATVs, UTVs, all the good stuff. So, Trey, what should we get into, man? We got a lot to talk about for sure. There's a lot of change up teams, the gear. I mean, even almost bigger than the bike changes and the team changes is the gear changes, right? Like the gear changing is kind of unreal. Like even you can like Thor who's now with Phoenix Racing, Club MX.
Yeah,
I was
so
always
many.
FXR. It felt like and now they're Fly,
hmm
and then where yeah FXR where they jump to again,
FXR now
kind of
with
everywhere.
Garrett Marchbanks
Yeah.
expanding their presence in the 450 class. Of course, Hayden Deegan to Fox was the really big one at the start of the offseason. I mean, there is a lot of moving parts. Mikkel Harup to Canvas. More of the team deals are a little bit lesser teams, not so many factory teams. Although we did have Rockstar Husqvarna, the 250 organization, now in One Industries. course, one just came back a couple years ago, and now they're really starting to expand. They started sponsoring Julian Beaumer last year. Now they have a deal with the Rockstar Husky team, which, of course, if you guys are big fans of the sport and have been for a long time, you probably remember sponsoring the team when they were still Rockstar Suzuki and Rockstar KTM back in the day. Jason Anderson won his 250 title in One Industries gear for that team. So kind of a full circle moment for them. And then you look around, you see some of these other brands. Of course, No Fear started to come back a little bit in World Supercross with Moto Concepts. Alias is starting to come back a little bit. I know Justin Starling had some of their gear last year, and now they're working with the Team Solitaire Yamaha guys. So a lot of gear changing around, but of course, a lot of team stuff going on. A little bit later in this week, I'll have up an article on the site. I'll start working on it and talk about the team changes. Just run them down for everybody because I know everybody's like, oh, yeah, I know Sexton to Kawasaki and Eli to KTM, Jorge to KTM, Justin Barsha to Ducati, all of these other things. But there have been so many team changes this offseason, too, that are a bit under the radar. Like I think about the 250 class. Hunter Yoder to Club MX, I feel like is an under the radar sighting that could go well. Lux Turner to Bar X Yamaha. I mean, he was ripping on the Yamaha in Australian Supercross when he was racing down there. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. Plus, guys like Carson Mumford trying to really get his career back going again with the AEO KTM guys. There are so many changes this year, but honestly, the 450 class with Jett's injury, Jett has won every single championship he's completed in the 450 class. If he stayed healthy, he's won the title. And now we go into the year and he's not even on the gate. It's wide open for everybody. Even though we have these past champions like Webb, like Tomac, like Chase on the gate, there's still some of these other guys. I'm sure a lot of people expect Hunter Lawrence to break out this year. He really hasn't been able to show some of that Supercross potential. Of course, he got hurt early last year, but look how good he was outdoors and in the playoffs. It's hard to count him out and say he might not be a player. Look how well Malcolm Stewart rode in Paris and performed during the offseason. I mean, the Lawrence brothers and Cooper Webb were both over there, and he went, I think, 6 victories in 2 seconds or something like that in 8 motos. It was a very impressive showing, and I mean, he was keeping up with those guys all night, blowing past people in the whoops. It was a very impressive performance. Plus, you got so much other talent. Justin Cooper, could he break through and win a couple races this year? AP's a proven winner. He could win. Ken Roxon can win races. Jason Anderson looks good on the Suzuki. He just won the World Supercross title. Plus, there are so many other wild card guys. You think Garrett Marchbanks, maybe the stars align one night and he gets up on the podium. Dylan Ferrandis is back on a factory bike. I mean, there are so many guys that could go in and you could look at them and you go, well, he could podium, and he could podium, and he could podium, and he could win. It's going to be very interesting. And then you look at the 250 West series. Of course, Hayden Deegan's going to come in as the heavy favorite, but you still have Levi Kitchen, Max Anstey, Cameron McAdoo, Chance Hymas, Michael Mosman. All of those guys have won races before. So it's not going to be easy for Deegan. He's definitely going to have to step up and keep his hand on the throttle and keep twisting that thing out there. And I don't have any doubts that he will, but Anstey looked very good in World Supercross. Kitchen, I made the remark recording a podcast today. I'm like, Levi Kitchen is in the position this year where Joe was last year, where Joe had a bit of a disappointing 2024 and really started to get momentum last year and start building and become that guy that could really challenge Hayden. Everybody thought last year it was going to be Levi, but between the illness that kept him out of 250 West and then getting hurt early on in the 250 East series, he really didn't have that momentum. He didn't have those outdoor wins. He had the red plate in Supercross in 24, but he really wasn't on that level. And now maybe he's a little bit more under the radar this year after he was a little bit down last year. Maybe Levi can really take that leap like Joe did last year and say, you know what, I'm for real this year. But it's going to be very interesting to see. Obviously, Anaheim 1's usually not a great barometer. We have a lot of surprise winners and crazy results at times, but I'd like to hear from your perspective as well. Who are you considering for the 450 title race? You don't have to tell me a champion necessarily, but who do you have your eye on from, of course, you've been at all the races over the past year. You're watching, seeing the guys on the stadium floor. And even though we don't have that expertise of knowing what Chase is going to be like on the Cowie or Eli on the KTM, who do you have your eye on for this championship as of right now?
Yeah, I think we have actually quite a few riders this year that are all in that same mentality. Like you mentioned with Levi Kitchen, for example. You know, maybe last year wasn't the greatest, but I think everyone comes in so fresh this year and they're ready. And they come in just thinking, all right, this is my chance. I'm going to show them what's up. Levi is going against Hayden. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. I think Hayden, I mean, obviously, he's a favorite, one of my favorites as well. I want him, I would love to see him continue to win and defend his title there before moving to the 450s. Why not? But I think, yeah, there's definitely some heavy hitters. Joe, I mean, that would probably been my pick, but unfortunately, that's what happened there. But I think Levi, I think we're gonna see that, like I said, with a lot of people, and especially someone like Chase Sexton on a new bike with all these bike changes, even the gear change. I don't know. I was actually thinking about that when I was rereading the article earlier of the gear change. I wonder if any of the gear changes, the people that didn't switch teams, I wonder how much of an actual reset or freshness that makes you have when you're on the bike. You know, unless you're getting like a better deal, I guess. Like, yeah, I like these
Probably
guys. They're
just like a
sweet,
look
but
good, feel good thing. I don't know. I
yeah,
mean, some
maybe, yeah,
guys probably are really stoked to switch, but man, Chase, I tell you what, that Alpine Stars kit they had him in on the Cowie photo shoot, that stuff looked really sweet in my opinion. And I know they're not a paying sponsor yet. Alpine Stars, shout out. You could cover some of our space around here,
yeah,
but I mean, that pink and green for whatever reason is always a really great combo on a
yeah.
Cowie, in my opinion.
The look good, feel good is probably definitely a big part of it, and I mean, it's something like Hayden, his gear deal. I'm sure that one probably pumps him up because Fox is a big deal, and that's why I remember the early news we had when they talked about him like parking in the 450 tent, not in the 250 tent. We knew about that early.
Yeah.
They were talking about it like, oh yeah, hey, they're gonna put him in the 450 tent this year, and that was because of the gear change. Because the 450 guys are
Yep.
the ones allowed to have the gear, but he got it, early in his 250, still while on a 250. So, and I believe the deal, kind of inside source told me a while back about this. I kind of knew early on about it, but it's like it's supposed to be a pretty big deal. I think it's like a 10-year type of deal, like a we want to retire you type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, so I think for something like that, I'm sure subconsciously that's going to make you probably improve on the bike. So it kind of makes me even more of a threat, really. But yeah, I don't know. I think we just have so many people that want to prove themselves this year, and with the window kind of being more open now, with Jett not in the picture, I mean, honestly, you know who I think might take it if Jett's not in the picture is probably Hunter, because he was there the whole time, you know. And you take Jett, you take Hayden, you take those guys out of the race and just do the same races again. You have some crazy battles going on for the lead because they were all battling for second and third the whole time this season. So it's like we're a lot of these guys. So I think Hunter honestly is going to be someone that we're going to see. He was really kind of sneaky about it and quiet about it last year. It was just kind of happening a lot. He was just right there a lot. So if he doesn't change that, he and there's no one in his way, then he's going to be right there on the top.
I think that's a good possibility, but I'm a little more skeptical about Hunter personally because, like I've mentioned, the Supercross experience it's been more so flashes outdoors and in the playoffs, and I think he can definitely contend there. But you go back to his rookie season, like he started getting better late in the year, and he did have a couple podiums, but of course last year he only gets to run 4 or 5 races and then he gets hurt, and I feel like that might have hurt him a lot in this scenario because yes, Jett, Tomac, and Hunter all went out there at the same time, but you look at the battles that Webb and Sexton were having. If Hunter's out there, he's being able to feed off of their battles a little bit more. And he's probably racing guys like J. Coop and AP and Ken Roxon. But I feel like that lost time is going to hinder him a little bit. I think when we hit outdoors, Hunter's going to be really fast. I think Hunter could possibly win main events and definitely be on the podium. But I'm a little more hesitant to put him in that title picture because he had his rookie season, but his sophomore season was pretty much over in Supercross before it really began. And you have Cooper Webb, the defending champion, who, of course, usually odd year Cooper Webb is a very dangerous weapon, but he's also been runner up in 2020 and 2024. And of course, you could never count him out. He's definitely the strongest guy mentally. Chase, if he's feeling good, if he's riding good, look out. I think Chase is going to be really good on the Kawasaki. Plus, I keep thinking about Kenny. I feel like this could be Kenny's last major chance to bring home a Supercross title. He was ripping in World Supercross, and I
Yeah,
know
it's
some
true.
people are like, "Oh, it's off-season races, all that stuff." But I mean, Buenos Aires, he was racing against Justin Cooper, Hayden Deegan, and Ken Rox or Jason Anderson, not Ken Roxon. But he was probably 15 seconds ahead of those guys in the last race, and he was a little under the weather that weekend. Other than Tomac in Vancouver, Kenny pretty much had his way with everybody. And they had Tomac come in there, Webb came in there, Justin Cooper. There were a lot of really strong guys there. And plus, you have all these guys switching teams. This is going to be year 4 of Kenny back with Suzuki. He knows the bike, loves the bike, gels really well with his team. I think this could be a year for Kenny to get up there and contend. He started to show a little bit of it last year, had the red plate, but unfortunately he had that crash in Tampa that really took him out of it. Plus, he had that ankle injury late in the year that really just kind of sapped him, which, of course, by that point, it was Webb and Sexton every weekend winning. But those are the three guys between Chase, Cooper, and Kenny that I go to that I think these guys could really be in the championship fight personally. I mean, Hunter, he could be. Malcolm Stewart could be if he keeps up that Paris momentum. Eli could be, but I think back to the Australian World Supercross round, and Tomac just looked like he struggled a little bit. And it's a little bit up and down. If this was like 2022 form Tomac, I'd easily put Tomac in that championship conversation. But I don't think getting getting your doors blown off by Christian Craig at Australian Supercross, I think back to that, I'm like, that can't happen if Eli Tomac wants to contend for a championship, you know. He just looked like he struggled, and I know we only have 2 races of Eli on that KTM, but one good, one bad. You can't be 50-50 and compete for a championship. So I'm a little more concerned with those guys, but personally, if I had to whittle it down to 3, I think Chase, Cooper Webb, Ken Roxon, those are my 3 guys that I think can walk away with a number 1 plate and with the Supercross championship trophy.
Yeah, it's one of those things I feel like those guys and a few others, I wouldn't be so surprised, like if they did. You're just like, yeah, I kind of always thought you had that in you still, or something like that. Honestly, it's like in the 450 class, especially, it's really this season. It's like I hope to see so many dudes each get a win. It'd be
Yeah.
awesome if it was just like one different dude after another, and it was just the points we're just like we don't know what's going on because everyone different's winning. Like I really want to see,
I genuinely think it could be that way
dude.
too.
That
You
would
look at the
be really
schedule, like
cool.
you think about it, it's like, what if, Kenny goes out, wins A1, Tomac wins San Diego,
Yeah.
Chase wins A2, and then it's like, wait a second. It's
Then we
like
get a random
maybe
one.
Webb can win one, maybe Mookie, and
Yeah,
then it just
Mookie
goes
or
on. There's
yeah,
a potential.
our boy AP. Like yeah, like I would love to see like all these guys
Hunter's
win
first
one.
win. What if J Coop gets that first win?
Yeah, exactly. Justin Cooper, he's been steadily. I've been watching him, since for the last few years since he's on the 250s, and he's definitely just been his. If you look at him on a graph, it's just going up. His results is just getting steadily better and better and better, and holding his positions better and better and better, having his endurance better and better and better. Like I'm watching him just constantly improve, and at some point he's going to be. He already is right there. So at some point he's going to get that edge that he needs and be able to pull off some wins. And I really want to see it. I definitely believe a win's coming for J Coop. I could totally see that happening this year. Would love to see that happen. Who would I want to see win? Would love. I'm selfish because I missed Malcolm's win this year. I missed that round, so I would love for him to get a win while I'm here. So that'd be cool. And then AP, obviously, I've been working with AP this year doing his YouTube and stuff, so I want to see him do well and get some wins. Um, yeah, Kenny, like you said, I would love to see him. I would love to see Tomac get a win. Like I would love to see all these boys get a win. Even if Jett was in the picture, same thing. It would be awesome if everyone's just trading wins, or at least the top 3 are trading more. And I think we are going to see that. I think we are going to see that. I'm excited for A1, and I think it's going to tell us a lot, but also not really. I think it's going to be the first few weekends. It's going to be like, okay, now we'll know a little bit better once we finish the first. What is it? It's A1, San Diego, A2, then Houston. So
Yeah.
we'll be, which is all in January, I think. Even with a late start in the January, we still hit everything. So yeah, that's there's a lot going on there. But I think one thing we should try to jump into a little bit, even though it's kind of old news now, but I still wouldn't mind getting in the details of it a little more. I guess would be Jett. His actual injury itself and what happened there. He just it was a practice day, right? I remember they was pretty much on hush for a while, and they tried to keep it on the down low. But
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly happened. I don't know if he cased a jump or if he just landed wrong or something, but it was definitely a training day. And I mean, it's the holiday season was not kind to Honda. Of course,
Yeah.
we had a good holiday season, but Honda, because right before Thanksgiving, I think, was Joe's injury, either right before or right after, and then a few days before Christmas is when the Jett news comes out. So not a good holiday season for Honda guys, but Jett, if he's off the bike for 3 months, he could come back as early as Birmingham, which I put in the article I have up on the site. But if it was like the old format before we had the playoffs, you probably wouldn't expect to see Jett back until Pro Motocross. But now, with, of course, Jett saying in social media, he's like, man, I really wanted to make all 31 rounds the last couple years. Yes, he's won the championship in the SMX playoffs, but he's not been that number one seed because he hasn't made it through the whole year. So if he can come back a little bit early, like Birmingham or one of these later rounds, and start stacking up wins and podiums, it could go a long way to get him to that number one seed and set him up even better. Because you think about it, he's gone into these rounds, the last rounds for the playoffs, and he's been winner take all scenario. He's rose to the occasion, but imagine if he has a few more seeding points to his name. Maybe that's a little bit more of a buffer he needs to take four consecutive playoff championships or something like that. But I think that's a really interesting part of this, because if this was 8 years ago, say, you would probably just be like, "Oh, Jett's probably going to take his time, get up to 100%, and then come out swinging at Paula for the motocross championship." But now, with all of the playoff stuff, the seeding on the line, look at Justin Cooper, man. He waited to all 31 rounds last year. He was just trucking along, got the number one seed. Of course, Charlotte didn't go well, and he lost the red plate pretty quickly, but he still just kept stacking points and stacking points, and he got that number one seed because of consistency and because he was there all the time. And for Jett to try to get a better seed this year, he's going to need to come back at Birmingham or one of these races and start putting good Supercross results together, which it'll be interesting to see. But hopefully he can recover. I have no doubts that he will recover and still be his typical best in the world self. But I mean, it's frustrating for him, I'm sure, because he said he doesn't, or he wants to get to all 31 rounds, and he doesn't even get to be on the gate for round one. Last year he at least got a few gate drops in. He had a victory in there, and he got hurt at Glendale. But this year, he doesn't even get to make it to A1 or San Diego. He has to watch all of his main competitors, Hunter, Chase, Cooper, Eli. He has to watch all of those guys take off and race while he's on the sideline and start gaining points on him. So it's got to be very frustrating. But I think Jett Lawrence will be back, and he'll be really strong come either the end of the Supercross season or the first part of outdoors, whenever he decides to make his return.
Yeah, it's a 3 month turnaround, I think is what we read. And yeah, I don't remember reading the extent or the details of the injury too. I see the picture that you put on here, and it's got the highlighted bones. Those are the ones that he actually hurt, right? The ones that are highlighted.
Yes,
So
I'm not a doctor by any
yeah,
means,
yeah.
not good at human anatomy, so I'm like, I wonder if I can find a picture of this and use it, and I did find it, and
And
it's
then look
very
at
interesting. It's like right in that part, it seems like, where the
everything connects.
ankle goes down into the foot,
Yeah,
so it's
so I actually am a little
very
familiar.
strange looking.
See the one below it, the talus bone. The talus
Yeah,
bone.
that was one of them.
That's the
Yeah.
one that I actually shattered that bone in my
Mm.
ankle. So that's why I shattered that in like 5 pieces or something like that, and then I fractured like all the bones around it, like including I think some of these other ones that are highlighted. But anyway, yeah, I have a little bit of experience there, and ankles are not fun.
So when you retired to be a media guy.
Yeah, I know it doesn't help walking around up and down these hills and walking 60 flights at the outdoor races, but yeah, I don't know. It actually, I mean, off subject, but a little funny story is I actually dislocated my ankle on Christmas Eve this year. The first time, like I've actually had a real problem. I broke it in like 2012 or something, and I shattered it, and I had to like learn how to walk again. I was like in a wheelchair for a little bit. So I also fractured my right one, and I shattered my left one. So I was just like pretty messed up for a little bit. Good old freestyle motocross. I missed the metal landing and just jumped into a dirt parking lot. But anyway, didn't even crash. Just landed super hard. Exploded my ankles and like walked on them and never. It was horrible. But
I'm fine.
yeah, I remember getting like a thing done called Graston, and it's like the best way to explain it. It's like if you put your elbows on a desk and goes kind of makes that crunchy sound. it's like they basically take like what looks like a tire spoon and they like a chiropractor and they'll like rub it on your like bones from the outside really hard, like break scar tissue from the outside. So they were doing that to my ankles, which gave me like I think like 15 degrees of motion back in like one session. You only do like a few sessions, you just get it broken up and then you rehab it just by using it and walking on it. But yeah, it's always been sore for over the last 10 years now, and but it's always been okay. It's not bugged me too much. But yeah, this Christmas Eve, sitting on the couch, man. Guess I'm getting old. Just stretched my legs. I was just stretching my calves like super hard, and my ankle got like stuck.
Jeez.
And I was just like, what? And then like I put it on the ground and put my hand over it, and I popped it back in. And then for like the next 3 days, I was like, I could barely walk. It was so like messed up. I was kind of worried about coming up to A1 that I wouldn't be able to walk, but I'm good now. It luckily, after a few days, went away. It's not because it's just a old injury. So yeah, a little. I have a little bit of experience there in the ankle department for Jett, so I feel bad for him. But you can definitely come back from this one. But I number that Graston technique. If you get anyone else ever having any issues with mobility from scar tissue, that's what you want to do. I remember that's what they told me. It's like Michael Phelps does it, like on the shoulders for swimming and for like the range of motion for your arms and stuff. So it helped me not walk like a penguin anymore, like with my foot sideways. So yeah, that's not a fun injury. So I feel bad for him, but yeah, hopefully just a few months, like you said, he'll be back. It'd be great if he's back by Birmingham. That'd be pretty quick, I think. But I know he'll be hurting for a little while now because ankles just suck, man. It's like all your body weight's on there. It's just everything sucks about it. So they'll hopefully he heals up quick and didn't have to go too extensive of a surgery. I remember mine was like just a couple of screws, really. They were able to put it back together. So hopefully it's kind of the same thing for him. But yeah, no, I'm excited. A1 just around the corner. Trey, I don't think you've ever even been to an A1 yet, so you're gonna be excited for that. You came to a couple of races last year, but A1's always a pretty big one. It's always packed. It's a lot of fun. Um, I remember my first time like walking out into the stadium. Like it totally sounds different down there. It's just different. So it's gonna be exciting. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's as of right now, I'm not really revved up too much about it. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to the racing, of course, but once I get there, usually like the last year or so, going to the few races that I did, it really wasn't until I got on the property or near the stadium or track until I really was like, all right, let's do this. Like, I got to get there, make sure the travel goes nice and smooth, all that stuff. And then it's like once I'm on the property, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's have a weekend. So try not to get revved up too much about it, but I mean, it's probably the most prestigious race on the circuit, of course, first up. And it's the start of a brand new season. So you have all this hype, all the team changes every year, all the different things, who can come out swinging and be the champion. There's so much to look forward to. And of course, watching that race at home forever pretty much. Not all the time, but since I've been 10, 11 years old, watching that race, sitting on the couch or in my chair watching the race, and especially with my dad and stuff when I got him into the sport, watch A1 every year. Who's going to start the year off on the right note? And to be in Angel Stadium is going to be a really cool moment. And hopefully we get a lot of great racing this weekend. I'm really excited to see the bikes on track once again, and it's going to be cool to see the brand new season kick off right in front of me.
yeah. No, it's A1's always an experience. I'm excited to get to all of them. I think especially this year, some help, Partzilla, helping me get there, helping us get there, make this happen. It's going to be huge. I think this year is going to be really big for us. Got a lot of big goals for Transworld Motocross. There's so many things I really want to do that we just got to kind of wait till we get there because it's just kind of one step at a time. I don't have the unlimited resources to make everything happen, but we're doing everything we can. But I think this year is going to be pretty cool. I'll be doing a post here soon on social medias looking for more contributors as well to come on board for both Trans and Motocross, but we're also bringing back. I'm also bringing back the Ride BMX, which is another Transworld brand from back in the day. There's a whole bunch of them. There's like snowboarding, skate, surf, all those. Those ones are all still going, but Moto and BMX were kind of turned off for those years. So I'm bringing them back. So yeah, so BMX will be coming back as well soon. We'll be looking for photographers, videographers, journalists, people to contribute to the website and to the socials. And then same for Trans Motocross. We'll be looking for more people this year to join the team and really start to get the expansion going that we've been wanting to do. Now that I feel like we've really got the foundation built and covered, now we're just got a lot more to keep going. But no, we're excited. It's the Supercross, motocross is what we're all about. It's been a great off season though. The Partzilla Arenacross series has been a lot of fun. Keep me busy. What off season, right? I've been at the races. So I enjoy it. But it's cool to see because now what's really cool is I get to watch the transition from this series to Supercross because there's a lot of riders that are in this Arenacross series that are getting ready for Supercross. For instance, one of our recent articles right here, Phoenix Racing, Evan Ferry. He was just at parts of the Arenacross like a couple rounds ago
Yep.
or whatever. I've been seeing him at a lot
Winning
of
heat
those ones.
races too.
Yeah, he was ripping. So it was cool to see those guys. They just show up every once in a while and get some wins. Gage Linville, he's been at Dirt Bike Depot. He's been really quick right now. He's looking really good and he's been racing the Arenacross series. He's having a great time. He's literally the last weekend he was like jumping and doing like head pumping and fist bumping in the middle of the race while I was leading. I was like, dang, what are you doing out there? And he's like, I was just feeling so good, but I had to calm myself down. But he was getting so amped up, having such a good time. So these guys are all going to be jumping into the East Coast series or some of them into the West Coast series. And they've been getting their feet wet the whole time and not coming into it. The jitters are already gone, like they already feel comfortable. And because our tracks too are really Sonny's been crushing the builds on them, and there's a lot of spec jumps there that are similar to Supercross, big on-offs, big jumps, and out of all the Arenacross series out there, like we seem to have like the best racing, the best racers, the fastest group of kids. We got SMX next guys, Trey Gibbs, or what is it? Gibson?
Landon Gibson.
Landon, oh, I went way off, sorry. Landon Gibson, yeah, Landon Gibson.
Yep.
He's been out there, and he's getting ready, I
Points
think.
leader.
Yep, he'll be going back to SMX. No, the SMX next, right?
Yes, he should
We'll do that
be
again one more time.
SMX next for Supercross. I expect to see him pro maybe outdoors full time, but
Yeah, I think
yeah, Landon Gibson's been ripping for sure.
he's only 16, so he's right there.
Yeah.
So he'll be at SMX next, and yeah, a few others. Like I said, they've been the series has been great, and then now I get to actually watch these guys and say, hey, what up? Right? See them back at the races, at the pro races, and I'm curious to follow up with them after a few rounds to see like how it benefited them and how that's going because the series itself isn't over. There's still 2 more rounds. Parts of the
hmm
Arenacross, I'll pull it up real quick. We'll pull up the schedule real quick just so everyone can see it.
Toledo next weekend, while San Diego Supercross is going on as the next one. Toledo, Ohio. So it'll be interesting to see who's there. But of course, as you mentioned, some of the guys on the West Coast, as you pull up the schedule, Aiden Shive was holding the red plate early in the season in the Open Pro class. He's running 250 West this weekend, back on his own on the KTM. Of course, his uncle Donnie helping him out. Matt Bell, HBI Racing, helping him out. Aiden's out there. Jack Chambers was there for a race. Kig Clayson. Both of
Yep.
those guys got some gate drops, of course. Guys from the Partzilla Blaster Power PRMX Kawasaki crew who just added a rider today. Anthony Burden is with the team, the Frenchie. Of course, he's raced AMA Supercross the last couple years and won the 250 division of the Paris Supercross. So that's a really underrated and solid addition to the team. And Justin Rodbell is another guy I think was at a couple of the Partzilla Arena Cross rounds. And Justin just announced that he's running with the SLR Honda team on the West Coast. So cool to see. And Justin was really solid on some of the 250 East rounds last year. Of course, he was really good in the mud at Foxborough, but he had some other really solid top 15 runs. So it'll be interesting to see what Justin can do on his new SLR Honda.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Man, it's a lot to remember there, Trey. You're doing pretty. You got a lot going on this year. There's so many changes. The silly season as they call it. Like there's so much happening between this and like the Arena Cross. Like, woo, kind of snuck up on us quick. Had this little holiday break, and you literally fly out tomorrow. You come here, and we fly out Thursday, and we'll be hitting
Yep.
A1. And man, when you fly out to those West Coast rounds, now that I live on the East Coast as it was on the West Coast, it's totally different traveling. Like
Oh, I bet.
we got to leave. Sometimes I can leave early, like 5 a.m. flight, like Friday morning, and still make it for the press meeting. We got to be by noon with the time change. But then coming home, we usually fly out like we're doing red eyes. Like we'll be flying out like
Yep.
11 p.m., landing like at 7 in the morning, which is great. It's just kind of crazy sometimes. It's like the schedules are
Yeah, you used to do a hop, skip, and a jump, and now you got to do a leap.
Yeah, when I was on the West Coast, you usually like going east was like harder. I think going
Mm,
west is also kind of hard, but leaving west is easy because you can do those red eyes. So
yeah.
yeah,
Also, the time zones. I mean, when you're flying in, I like to joke around like what about my flight, talking to my parents and stuff. It's like it's only a 2.5 hour flight to get to LAX because you're going through the time zones and
plus
stuff. It's
3 hours.
actually 5.5 hours. But hey, look at the time zone, only 2.5 hours. You know?
Yeah, the time, and then again the time change. I definitely you get more messed up going to the West Coast. I feel because you're 3 hours ahead. Like it's like midnight for you when it's 9 p.m. over there. You're just like
Yeah.
whoa. So it's definitely interesting coming from the West Coast now being out here, and yeah, it's got its benefits. So like I said, I think I usually save about a day or two on hotels and rental cars by doing the red eyes and the early flights coming from the East Coast and time change. So actually been a little bit of a benefit living out here for those reasons. But yeah, no, it's good, man. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good year for us. We got a lot of plans, a lot of things to do. We're gonna keep trying to do these live shows every Tuesday after every race. We're definitely gonna be doing these shows. Please tune in, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Every Tuesday night after the races, we will be here. We might do some more shows on top of that, but definitely after the races, we'll be doing all these shows. Big shout out once again, Parts of are coming on board this year. Check them out, Best for Parts. These guys are awesome. I mean, it's really you get these partnerships like this, and it's really just off these relationships. And I've developed already a strong relationship with them last year just by creating content for them on the side and working with their team that developed into becoming a real partnership with what we're doing here over at Transfer Motocross, motocross.com. So really big shout out to them. Huge thank you to them. You're gonna be hearing me say it all year because I truly appreciate them for coming on board and letting us continue to do this and keep this going. So thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Trey, you got some more stuff coming up. Do you have another thing getting posted before we get into it this weekend?
Yes, I do. Two episodes of my podcast this week. Actually, I wanted to do a preview episode for each class. Make sure we covered all the bases. The 450 preview released yesterday, and then tomorrow morning, the 250 series preview releases. We focus more on the West, but we do talk a little bit about the East Coast, who to expect there, and who could be the possible title contenders. My podcast is the Sire Sound. I am the host, Jack Noel from the Dirt Bike Depot team is my co-host, and we break down the action usually after all the races and talk about some of the biggest headlines in the sport. It's on all major platforms. Go find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. We would appreciate that. At the Steyr Sound Official, if you want to follow our podcast Instagram page, I'm at TJ Steyer3 on Instagram and at Steyer23 on X. And of course, this weekend I'll be pretty active on my X account. I usually live tweet if I can along with the race if I'm up in the press box. So I should be doing that at A1 and also doing some other finds that I see around the pits. Of course, we're going to be in the pits and moving around, seeing people for the first time. So we'll probably be pretty active on social media this weekend saying, hell, here's the first look at this guy and this guy. And it's going to be really fun. But hopefully, you guys tune into all of our coverage, whether we're on social media or wherever it may be. We're really excited for this weekend. And I'm excited to be a part of Anaheim 1. You know, it's one of those races you always dream about going to. It's one of those bucket list items. And to be able to go there is going to be really cool. And thank you guys for tuning in this week. And come join us every Tuesday night. We would appreciate it. And hopefully, you like to enjoy us talking about motocross. And this time next week, we'll probably be overreacting to a lot of things that happened on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm excited to have some fresh thing to talk about. Kind of feel like going into this show, I'm like, well, everything's kind of old news right now, but you know what? We just need to get warmed up. I'm excited to get all the craziness out of the way, and then just come back on Tuesday and be like, wow, okay, so that was nuts. So excited for you guys to join us. Yes, every Tuesday, and please give Trey a follow when his socials and everything that he mentioned. He's a big part of this, and he's our main guy right now on the website. Like I said, we're rebuilding, trying to get more help and get those things happening, and we'll be putting a lot more focus on that growth this year. But in the meantime, like I said, Trey's been a huge part of this and really holding it down on the website. So check out motocross.com. There's lots of news and information there, and we're going to do so much more there. And me and Trey are going to do some brainstorming on some directions and things that we want to add to the site, and more types of content that we're going to develop this year. So please follow along with us. Follow TWMX.com on Instagram, and check out, if you want to check me out, I'm Gavin Ayala, GavenAyala on Instagram. And yeah, it's been a great time hanging out with you guys. We will see you at A1 on Tuesday night after the race. And check out us on the socials. We'll be doing all kinds of posting, showing the live qualifying, and on YouTube. Please check out the YouTube channel because subscribe, everything helps. But we'll be doing all our videos. I got lots of videos dropping all weekend, and the following week, all our recap videos will be dropping every race weekend. So please check all that out. But yeah, from us to you guys, thank you. Happy New Year. And thanks for joining us tonight. And we will see you guys at A1. Peace.